Welcome back to my channel for another Leica Q3 43 episode, which is the camera here in front of me on the table. And the background for this video is the following. When I showed you in my introductory video my new Sony RX1R Mark III, I also showed you a lens hood which I could use on this new Sony camera and which was sitting on the Mark II for many years. This lens hood is probably 8 to 10 years old and it fits in perfect ways. It even snaps in. Absolutely fantastic. And the underlying brand for this lens hood is JJC. And they reached out to me and asked me if I would be interested to review a bunch of accessories, which you see here in front of me on the table, for the Leica Q3 43. Now, I'm not paid by them. I'm not affiliated with them. They just sent this to me for free. And I said, of course, I'm interested in trying it out. I want to offer options on my channel to my subscribers and my viewers. And we already spoke intensely about accessories for the Leica Q3 43 in recent times. We spoke about lens hoods, we spoke about filters, we spoke about filter problems with the original lens hood here, which was shipped with the Leica Q3 43. I showed you the Freewell real lens hood, quote unquote. That's the way it is called, and so on and so on. And why not showing you more accessory options? And then you, of course, can decide what best suits your need. So let's kick this off. If you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please do so. Subscribe, hit the notification bell and support my work. All right, what do we have here in front of me on the table? We have a hot shoe cover. We have a multi-coated UV filter, which is ultra slim. And maybe this one finally fits under the original lens hood, which was shipped with the Leica Q3 43. Let me remind people in my so-called filter problem video back then. Then we have a wrist strap. That is, in my opinion, kind of a compromise if you don't like to have straps around your neck or hanging over your shoulder, but you want to make sure that you never let your camera drop accidentally down. Then maybe a wrist strap is an alternative and might be very convenient. Then we have here an eye cup and we have a camera hand grip, which of course, all of them I'm going to try out briefly in this video. Okay, so let's start the big unboxing. What do we want to start with? Why don't we start with the eye cup? Because that is something I've not seen so far for Leica Q cameras. And unfortunately, as you can see here, I will need a tool for this because this is still factory sealed. So it's time for my Swiss knife here. And now we can open it. Oh, more sealing. But, well, it's not sealing, it's just a plastic bag. And that's how it looks like. So seams that goes into the hot shoe, and then you get a more comfortable shield against sunlight, reflections, what have you, on your viewfinder. So let's try this out. First of all, let's close the tool. Safety first. And so we remove here the hot shoe cover. We get this in here. Let me see. Ooh, that actually works nicely. And look at that. Now you have more cover for your eyes and you will very likely not see any reflections. I will try this out not live in front of the camera, but it looks good and it actually sits very well in the hot shoe. It's not too firm, but also not loose. Looks good, and I think this accessory is something I will keep because in certain situations, I actually think it might be quite useful to have it in this way mounted to the camera hot shoe and having a shield against sunlight and other distracting factors which might influence your shooting. Nice. It's of course making the camera a bit more bulky on this side here, otherwise it is flat. But you know, you can store this separately in your backpack. It's out of plastic. This part here is out of rubber and it's not contributing to weight. It's negligible. So why not throwing it into your backpack? And if you need it in certain shooting conditions, you mount it on the camera body into the hot shoe and you're good to go. Next, let's look into the wrist strap. Let's get it open. I show you this all the time that I close this. So I think that's a role model behavior, right? With a knife. So let's get this open. Let's see how this works. Okay. And then it comes out like this. It's a nice one. Looks like, I don't know, leather. Let's see if there's something written on the back side. There are some instructions here. Compact, low profile wrist strap. Protect your camera from accidental drops. Mentioned that already. Adjustable magnet design. effortlessly transforms into a bracelet. All right, we need to try this out. Sounds very interesting. Let's have a look at the strap. So first of all here, this is kind of microfiber leather. Here we have, I think this looks and feels like aluminium. And here we have actually a snap-on mechanism. So this one clearly goes onto the camera body here. And we'll try this out in a moment. And then I have to pull this back and this one here slides out. And it is not sensitive to which direction. Have a look here. And then it sits firmly. I can slide it out again and I can slide it in. And in this way, and that's what I like so much about my Peak Design straps, I can actually use it, but quickly also remove it if I get sick and tired of something around my wrist or my neck. What I also discovered is if you want to get rid of the camera being connected to your wrist, you slide this off in the way I just showed before, and then you can actually keep this as a bracelet. Watch this. There is a magnetic knob here and it just snaps on. So you have it at your disposal, very quickly available again if you need it. You just get the two magnets disconnected, you slide this in again, and imagine my camera now being mounted here, and I have connected my camera again and preventing accidentally drop downs. And otherwise I can just fold this back and get it here almost like a little piece of art on my wrist. Quite nice. That's actually very functional. And of course, pulling it off is very simple because with this aluminium slider, you can actually make it more narrow or more wide, depending on your needs, you know, how big your wrist is, and so on and so on. And here you see this, there is a magnet built just under the leather here. And let's make this a bit wider so I can show you. And here it is, you see it. And this one here is actually magnetic and it snaps on. And in this way you can use it as a bracelet, which is quite nice actually. It's quite creative and probably very functional. So you can keep it on your wrist all the time. Let's slide this in again and have the camera connected or disconnected. Now this one goes into the camera here. I'm sure it has to go in here. Now there are my Peak Design strap anchors already in. Let's see if I can fit this in here. Or if not, yes, I can. So I can use this in addition to my Peak Design shoulder strap anchor and can decide, do I want to have a shoulder strap or a strap around my neck, or do I want to use that one here, which I can now slide in. Let's get the magnets disconnected. Boom, it slides in. So now let's try how comfortable this is on the wrist. Let's first of all get this white. Let's get my wrist inside. Let's make this fitting here. And let's see how this plays out. First of all, you know, let me test this. It looks firm, right? Should we risk to drop the camera? Let's see if this is playing out. I need enough distance to the table, right? Otherwise, my Leica Q3 43 will crash and I will get a lot of tears into my eyes. Let's try this. Let's try it again. I go a little bit more distance to the camera. Seems to work. It holds the camera, it's firm, it's actually pretty secure. And I also saw there are a couple of videos on YouTube where people actually try to measure how much weight and force you can apply. And this one seems to be solid like a rock. So that's the way you use it. If you don't want to use it, repeating myself, remove it, put it in your backpack, or use it as I demonstrated before, as a bracelet on your wrist. Next, let's look into the hot shoe cover. Now we find a little bit of information here on this one. It's hard to read for you, but I read it for you. Specifically designed for the Leica Q3 cameras, reduces impact, scratches, stains and dust affecting the hot shoe. Silicone pad at the base to protect hot shoe contacts. Full coverage design protects the metal edges of the camera's hot shoe, and that's actually quite fancy, made of premium anodized aluminium alloy, sturdy and durable. So let's get this out of the box. Let's see what we have here. Let me quickly get this in here. All right, watch this. And we open it. And here it is. Here we go. First of all, let's look at the original hot shoe. So this is made out of plastic. This is the original one from Leica. This one here looks quite fancy. It actually looks really fancy. Here's the rubber I spoke about when I read off what's written on the box. And very likely I can slide this into the Leica Q3 now. and let's see how this looks like. Ooh, this is actually very solid. Nicely done. The color is a bit deviating from the color of the finish of the camera body if you looked at in different light angles here. But it looks very valuable. It has JJC engraved at the back of the hot shoe. Let's compare this. Let me take it off. This is the original one. It also deviates in color, you see? So the Leica one has kind of the same different coloring than the one from JJC, so there is no difference. And this one here is coming out a little bit of the camera body if you look here, so that the camera body might get less scratches in unfortunate situations. That's actually quite nice. It sits firmly, but you can easily slide it out and get the original one in if you want. Tiny little accessory, maybe the better taste for some of you if you watch that, or for me, than the original one, which is plasticky, not very valuable, not really Leica style. They should have done this probably better and used also aluminium type material as JJC is doing here. And this rubber here is probably good for the contacts in the hot shoe. I don't know if you can see it. It has texture on it. It looks pretty good. It looks in a way that it would really protect the contacts, but I also don't think that the plastic from the original one is doing any harm to the contacts on the hot shoe. Now, complaining about that plastic hot shoe cover from Leica, you guys will remember, right? When I unboxed Leica SL cameras back then, the Leica SL3, for instance, given its price tag, expensive, does not even have a hot shoe cover. And then, of course, you need to rely on third-party providers. And here with JJC, you get these type of things. Let's look into the box with the hand grip now. So hand grips are essential for me. Look, I mean, I mentioned this so many times. I always have hand grips on my Leica M cameras and on my Q cameras. So let's unmount this one here. And let's see how the JJC hand grip looks like in comparison. This one here is easy to screw out and then remove it. All right, here we go. Now here, let's see, is there any sealing? Oh yes, there is another sealing. Let's get the knife out again. Let's see how we get this in here. And then it's open. And here is the hand grip. There's a little paper in here. Align the base of the grip with the camera body case and use the included flathead tool to tighten the flathead screw to secure the hand grip to the camera base. Okay, good. So far, so good. We probably don't need to read this twice. Get this out of sight here. Let's get it out. Oh yes, and now we talk business, my friends. Look at this. No spare outs for battery and for storage card. And that finally here looks like a very functional hand grip, which provides all that what people complained about. I remember actually when I introduced the Leica Q3 43 and then showed later the new hand grip for it, we had 2 points of criticism. One point of criticism is that the hand grip is black and the leather texture here on the camera body is grayish. And the second was, and there were a bunch of comments on it, why do they not have spare outs here for changing the battery and getting the SD card out? And that is totally different now with this one. Now, what they should have done is, of course, getting this in gray and not in black. But let's see how it fits. And then it's early enough to complain. So first of all, you mount this here. We need a screwdriver for this. I'm not sure if it's in the box. Let's see. There's nothing in here. There is nothing in here and nothing in here. So I need to get a tool to get this screwed on, and I will be back in a couple of seconds. All right, I'm back and I used a flathead screwdriver to screw this hand grip very firmly into the camera body. I applied a lot of force because I wanted to make sure that this sits for eternity, because I will never take it off again. And the reason is that it is so much more functional what I have here than what the original Leica hand grip is offering. Of course, you have here, and that's convenient for mounting it and unmounting it, a screw which you can operate without any tool. And you also have a tripod mount, but this one here is just in any way superior. That's why I use this tool to really firmly screw it onto the Leica Q3 camera body. Battery change, no problem. Here it is, and then it goes in again. SD card, here it's out, and now it goes in again. No problems any longer with unmounting a hand grip and then mounting it again on the camera body. And by the way, at first sight, I thought, well, here we have a tripod mount. Where is the tripod mount on this hand grip? But it is here. here is the tripod mount, and it's exactly the size we have here on the original Leica. So I can also keep the hand grip on when I'm shooting on a tripod, which was possible, of course, on the original Leica accessory too. About the convenience and the comfort of the grip, it's in the same way comfortable as the original Leica one. If we compare this, let me try to hold this into the camera. It's about the same size, the way it comes out and sits in front of the camera body, which before was flat here. I think the texture of whatever material that is, looks to me like leather, is nicer on the Leica hand grip. This is more modern here. This is more old-fashioned, I would say, but that's a matter of taste, of course. But in terms of functionality, this is unbeatable. Really, really cool. And I'm pretty sure it's also Arca Swiss compatible. And we can quickly try it out. Let me get a tripod. Again, I'm back and I brought you my most favorite Arca Swiss tripod head, because everything here can be smoothly operated for adjusting angles in a very fine way. And let's now try to mount this without any base plate. Let's see if it goes in. Here we go. Actually, do this the other direction so we can see how this works. And it works like a charm. Look at this. Very firm sits. So this is Arca Swiss compatible, which is super convenient because you don't need these freaking base plates any longer. And you can just screw in and mount here via the hand grip, which is Arca Swiss compatible. So quite nice. This one here, 10 points out of 10. Absolutely fabulous. Tripod mount, SD card access, battery access, and Arca Swiss compatible. There is not more you can ask for if you want a hand grip, except maybe the color and texture of this leather type structure here. That could have been done prettier, more nice, but you know, who cares? It's about shooting a camera and not about showing it off. And at least in terms of color, we are not any way better off with Leica, but the texture here is a little bit nicer. Last but not least, and that's the last box here on the table, I want to look into this multi-coated UV filter with the attribute Ultra Slim. And I also brought the original lens hood. You remember my videos back then when I talked about my filter problems. So I then additionally purchased the circular lens hood to actually fit the UV filter under the lens hood. And let's take this off. And whenever I had any UV filter tried out, it did not fit under this shorter lens hood. It's significantly shorter than the lens hood of the Leica Q3 28. And that was at the beginning annoying. Later we found solutions. A lot of people actually helped in the comments and suggested filters which would fit under this. And I'm now curious if I unbox this one here in a second, if it fits under the original lens hood, because that is still the original Leica Q design, right? This square shape here and not a circular one like we have it here. It's original Leica and it's made for that purpose, but I never fully understood why Leica not made this lens hood a little bit longer. My speculation was in my introductory video of the Q3 43 that they wanted to get kind of the same depth of the camera compared to the Q3 28. But you know, function is over design, right? At least in my opinion. Let's actually enable the tool again. And oh, this one here is not sealed. We don't need a tool. All right, very good. Let's get this out. Here's another paper. Not that we missed something. Let's see what it says. Installation instruction. Well, that's kind of straightforward. I don't think we really need that. All right, let's have a look here. So this is actually a very nice packaging. It looks fancy. It's valuable. And you open this here with a click. Look at that. And if you want to close it, it snaps on again. Nice. I like these type of things and sounds. All right, so here, tiny little lens hood. Oh my gosh, this really looks ultra thin. Look at that. This will probably completely vanish inside the lens. And now, latest at this point, we have to think, because there are two sides. This side is flat and highly likely it goes like this into the lens. And here we have spare outs, and there is a tool which is called the tear down tool in the box, and very likely this fits like this. And now here we can screw the lens hood out again. So never try it in this direction, because then you will maybe not get it out forever. And so I'm going to screw this in now. Let's see. Here we go. Nice sound. It's almost already vanishing in the lens, and now I can only screw it like this. Let's take the tool now. Let's get this in here. And now I can conveniently, and there is actually air between the glass and this tool. And now I can screw this in conveniently, and it really vanishes completely in the upper summicron. A little bit of force, not too much. This looks good. Look at that. Totally flat here at the top side of the lens, not coming out. And for sure now, finally, the original square-shaped lens hood will fit, because it is as if there would be no protector, no UV filter at all. Nicely done, JJC. That looks good. A really good solution. I will go back to the old design. This one here will get decommissioned and end somewhere else. I have to think about it. And this is really cool, really good. It's now the original design. My lens is nevertheless protected. If I want to get it out ever, because I need to clean it, maybe from the other side, I don't know. There are no rubber sealings in these type of protectors, of course. I can use the tear down tool again and screw it out. Look at this, simple like that. But I keep it. I keep it inside the upper summicron. Very nice. I think I will now summarize what I found here in this collection of accessories, and then I will conclude the video. Okay, so what are my final thoughts, and let's call it my verdict about these JJC accessories? Some of them I will keep from now on my Leica Q3 43. And the first one which I will keep is this UV filter. I actually like the square design of the lens hood. It's just a cute design. And I also like the lens cap here a lot. So I will keep it. It will stay on my upper summicron, and that's definitely 10 out of 10 points. Very well designed here with this tool. I should not lose this tool, so I will store it here inside, because when I ever want to remove that UV filter, that ultra thin UV filter, I will need that tear down tool here. I will also use it here to store my original Leica filter, 49mm. I can use this on some other 49mm lenses, close this up and put it into my shelf. That's the first one. And here clearly 10 out of 10 points. This is highly functional, is well done, and works really well for me. The second accessory I will keep, and that's why I used the tool and applied a lot of force to screw it in, is of course the hand grip. Tripod mount, battery spare out, SD card spare out. Fantastic, really good grip, good in hand. This will stay on the Q3 43 from now on. What I will also keep for myself is the eyepiece. I think if you have a very sunny, very bright day, this will clearly improve the convenience and comfort of looking through the electronic viewfinder. And you can just pull this off, slide it off, get this on, and then you have a very comfortable fit to your eye. I think this is very well done. I will keep this for myself, and it will be with me when I go out and shoot with the Leica Q3 43. There are two of these accessories I will not keep. One here is clearly the hot shoe cover. That's really a matter of taste and a design question. They both have a slightly different color than the finish on top of the camera. And I like it more flat here. I don't want this to stick out, although it's likely a little bit protective for the camera body. But I like it in the way Leica originally had it. I don't mind having a plastic cover for my hot shoe. And this one here looks nice. Is nicely done. It also has this nice rubber here, which is definitely healthy for the contacts, but I don't need it. So I will keep this one here in the way Leica shipped it to me. And what I also don't need is the wrist strap, because I already have a hard time getting used to shoulder straps and having the camera around my neck or hanging over my shoulder. And in order to discipline myself, I never took off since this video back then, the anchors from Peak Design. And I really want to learn it and focus. Those of you who watched that video might remember what I said about Joel Meyerowitz, how you can miss that one opportunity, that shot, if you don't have your camera in your hand immediately. And if it is in a backpack, it's just too long to get it out. So hang it around your neck or hang it over your shoulder. But this one here, I will not start a second journey. It's nicely done. It's functional. You can use it as a bracelet. Very nice. I demonstrated it. It gives the camera protection, probably more from thieves than from dropping down. I think most of us, in particular if they have a hand grip, will not have an accident that the camera drops down. But in certain areas, neighborhoods, it's very easy to get your camera stolen. And with this one, this will not happen. It's not easy, if not impossible, to grab this and tear it out of your hands, the camera, if this one here is around your wrist. All right, that's it. That's all I wanted to say and show. Big thank you to JJC for allowing me that video. I think there are really useful accessories among these which I reviewed here. 3 of them will stay with me from now on because they are really, really cool and will enhance my workflow and my shooting comfort with this camera a lot. In particular, the hand grip, but also being able to going back to the original Q design lens hood, which I like a lot. And then, of course, the eyepiece, which will in sunny, bright days be a big help if you have your eye on the electronic viewfinder. If you like this video, don't forget to drop me a thumbs up. Stay tuned on my channel. There's always more to come. Thanks for watching. Stay safe and healthy. And of course, peace out.